Enabling a machine to understand input is complex. It is machine multisensory integration, not processing power, that limits further progress. Through their innovative technology, this company is customizing wide-angle lenses and imaging software technology for AI. Welcome to Immervision, and welcome to one more episode of Builder Nation. For today's agenda, we have Alessandro Gasparini, Executive VP and CCO at the company, creating solutions to see beyond human vision. So welcome, Alessandro. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for taking the time today.
Thank you, Elisa, for inviting me. And it's great to have a chance to discuss about this topic. I've been with the company 18 years. And when I met one of the co-founder and today's CEO of the company, Pascal Nini, a great individual, well, there was a bunch of engineers in an office, which they had a great idea about how they want to be able to provide vision to machines and how they want to do all of this. And at first, I came from a company that was just sold to a larger organization. And when I heard about the story, I said, I think there's something here. We can really do something. We can really actually improve the world. And so to reproduce that and provide that to machine, it will make us cohabit better together, machines and humans. So that's how I started 18 years ago. The company was founded in 2000. And it was initially founded in the south of France, where it's warm, near the beach. And then the company moved to Canada. And in 2003, we established offices here. All the assets, IP, everything was now Canadian. And when I met the founder back in 2005, I was really blown off by this technology and what they were doing. Amazing stuff. Like, we're talking about VR today, and you have all these companies making head-mounted displays. Back in 2005, I came to the office and they put me like an helmet, an army helmet with vision inside. And there was a camera that was streaming through a Nokia phone. I could see myself and I could see other people, and I was doing this around, and I went like, oh my God, this is amazing. There was no Facebook, Meta, whatever solutions out there. There was nothing of that. So I went like, oh my God, this is so advanced. And I started really on the strategy planning of the business, which markets, how we should go to market with this, what are the value proposition for the customers, who are the customers for this. And it was a great adventure, and it still is a great adventure. After 18 years, I'm not bored. And every time I'm thinking about, hey, I should do something else, I always come back to Immervision and go like, no, this is too fun.
How would you say the industry has changed since it started and nowadays? Like, what would you say has been the main challenge since the beginning?
Well, the biggest challenge has been Immervision has always been ahead of its time in terms that whatever development, innovation, anything that we would foresee as vision system for devices, the market was not ready for that. And technically what you hear about is, what is this for? What would this do better? How would this create a new user experience? And from a technology part, for us, it was easy to explain because, again, we provide a component, we don't provide this solution. But the companies were saying, okay, but what is the application? What is the use case scenario? And try to transmit them what they can do with, that was the challenge. Let me give you a pure example. We presented the first ultra wide angle camera or smartphones integrated into a Qualcomm development kit, into a Qualcomm event back in 2014. At that time, people were going, wow, amazing, incredible technologically, but what can you do with this? So we were trying on people to see some of the applications like video conferencing, like make it easy. You have a phone in your hand and you can actually move always, but your face will always be framed without moving. Where today you need to align yourself always with a camera. What happened today? 3, 4, 5 cameras per phone, all coming out of the device. So we were again too early on that stage. And today we can see some of our technology in some of the smartphones.
I cannot imagine how hard it was back then to educate people, if we could put it like that, or to normalize all of this technology. So what would you say was the biggest challenge in order to find the product market fit?
It's to find the team or the company leading new ideas up front. There's a number of companies out there, they go into a market where the market is established, but there are others which are more innovative. I can tell you one example of one company, very innovative. HTC was one of the first to make smartphones with the front camera, and they were the first one, but nobody knew about them. What everybody knew about it was Apple was doing, because Apple is a strong marketing machine and they were able to push that. But this other company, which technologically is one of the most advanced, didn't make it out as big as others did. So this is finding those companies which have the right balance between the willingness to innovate and break through with technology, but also the marketing capabilities to position new trends, to create these new trends, letting know people, you can do this now.
I know that you guys recently announced the automotive grade lens for in-cabin vision systems. Could you please talk a little bit about this and how does it actually work?
Certainly. Most people are used to like we're doing right now. So I'm seeing you and I see a little bit of your background. You see me and you see a little bit of my background.
Yeah.
But now the reality is when you're starting having machines to have to understand the environments, to be able to place an individual in relation to another individual or another object, you need to give them a little bit more of awareness of what's in the surrounding. So when we're looking at in-cabin today, we see a lot of cameras with wider angle focusing most on the driver. And where in-cabin application are going is now we want to know more. Is there somebody beside? Is there somebody in the back? What is in the surrounding of the driver to be able to classify the passengers? And in order to do that, you need to design some camera system which take advantage of variable pixel density. So one camera positioned at the right place with the right field of view, with the right pixel density distribution, can have multiple applications from the same camera instead of having different cameras, each one for a specific application.
Wow, this is kind of like the new integration, right, for Immervision?
Automotive has been a long time market, but this is a new opportunity for Immervision. And we are seeing a lot of traction from the different OEMs and the tier ones in this industry. They are also exploring because there's not yet the right solution on the market.
Yeah.
We are defining it all together.
I would like to ask you about your lab. I know that you have an innovation lab where I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Joyce was developed. So could you talk a little bit about her?
If you want to go back to how Immervision started, that's how actually then Innovation Lab started later on. Innovation started with a bunch of smart imaging engineers. And at that time, back in 2000, they created a very advanced virtual reality player for PCs. So you could virtually spin images around, be kind of like in the center of a scene and be able to move around. Something that today you say, yeah, I put those marks and I can see a virtual place. Go back in 2000, nothing of that was there. And that was when it started. But one thing they realized, I came later, they realized is that you can improve the image as much as you want, but there's a limitation where if you do not have a good source image at one point, the quality you cannot increase it just by inventing pixels or trying just to fix them. You really need a good source image. And that's how the optical designing part came onto Immervision. And by understanding the optical design, so the physical part of imaging and the electronic part of imaging by the pixel management, that's where we came to say, hey, this is how we can improve products. That's how we can help people getting better solutions. That's how we can improve the experience. And Innovation Lab was founded on that to get problems that companies may have when they develop their products and helping them finding the solution through a design thinking approach.
You mentioned engineers at the beginning. We tend to speak with different leaders and CEOs or CCOs in the industry, and most of them at some point struggle in the pandemic with the procurement process. How was this process like for you?
Being a technology company, we struggle a little bit less because we're not directly part of the supply chain. We are a little bit ahead of the supply chain. Is when we develop, conceive a solution, a vision solution, so camera solution. The problem came in after that for our customers when they wanted to ramp up the production in terms of lens manufacturers, the sensor supply, camera module assembly, chips supply, which unfortunately from our side, we are a little bit limited in terms of being helpful to them with that, except for our network of different partners that we have. Sometimes we could help them saying, hey, we know this partner can perhaps provide this component.
Okay. So it was reflected on your customers, all the procurement challenges.
They were already in that situation with all the other components and parts of their products. So it was not a surprise for them. And the impact to us was a slow down to get the product out and the ramping up of the production. And we're still seeing a little bit of that today.
And one of the last questions I would like to ask you, where do you think the future of the industry is going?
I think we're just scratching the surface of what we can be. And I'm a strong believer of cohabiting with machines. These machines, in order to really work well with humans, they really need to better understand their environment. And to understand their environment, they need to have something that is close to how a human looked at the environment. So we need to still do some work there. So I'm seeing robots everywhere, delivering, supporting, a little bit like Star Wars. I see that everywhere. I see vehicles really more and more becoming autonomous. I see travel by air becoming more accessible in time and more like having those taxis that drives you from point A to point B flying. I see all of that happening. And some people say, Alessandro, how can you say that? Well, one thing is, and this is what is exciting about working at Immervision, we are working with all of those companies who are making those products. And we see them and we know what their requirements and we know what they're pushing, what they're trying to solve. And we're a little bit part of that by providing some vision solution.
I'm talking with different companies. Most of them tell me that the legal stuff and all the legal process takes a lot of time. So yeah, I don't understand, but I don't think it's that far from us.
You're right. It's not that far. I can touch it. I saw things, I experienced things. I got on board of certain things and I went, oh my God. And I'm a great believer. I look at Tesla, for example, and then I find it amazing. They challenge a complete industry. They challenge the automotive industry. And the automotive industry was laughing. And today, they're trying to catch up to what they created. So it's quite amazing. And there's so many other companies out there like that. And some of them that appeared on your program. The future is amazing. And I just hope that I'm going to have enough years ahead of me to be able to see even us go back and forth for vacation to Mars.
This was great. One of the last questions, what do you say are the next steps for Immervision? Are you guys planning on expanding or releasing any new projects anytime soon?
We are pushing the boundaries of physics and electronics together to create the closest possible visual cortex to the human visual cortex. That's what we're doing. In order to do that, we are adding some additional expertise where we're seeing that there is a lack of that in the market. So we're looking at expanding, adding more competencies, and of course, expanding in terms of presence with presence in Europe, presence in Asia and the US, and to continue pushing that innovation and really be able to do some breakthroughs which are accessible to all products, all companies, and not only to a selected part of governmental or high-end companies only, but to make it available to everybody.
Thank you so much, Alessandro, for being here, for sharing your experiences. Do you have any social media handles? Where can people find you or Immervision?
We're based in Montreal, Canada. You can share my email address and the contact information. I will be happy to address any additional questions, or people would like to join in for a conversation about the future or how we can help. I will be happy to do that.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. And remember, guys, that you can also find more information, interesting articles, interesting interviews just like this one with Alessandro directly on our website, ControlHub.com/builder-nation. We would love to hear from you. And once again, Alessandro, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining Builder Nation today.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for this opportunity. And I'm really looking forward to see more of your capsule. Really amazing.
Thank you.